Hello again, YouTube, and it's been a minute, hasn't it? It's been a few years. It's been like 4 years actually. I did watch my last video, uh, believe it or not, the whole thing. Um, Last video I posted was back in February of 2022, and oh boy, has there been shit that went down. Uh, I basically am making this video not for any tragic reason or anything to say, hey, I'm fucking dying. Hopefully I'm not, but uh, I mean, we're slowly dying every day. If you think about it, it's existential dread. But anyway, I have started streaming here more frequently in the past few months. Before, I know I said I was streaming, but it was like every here and there, once a week. When I worked at Regal, it was when I had crazy ass hours, or when I worked at Walmart, I had crazy ass hours. So like, I would be awake during the day for some days, and then at night I would work, and then other way around. It was just the schedule was hectic and everywhere. And then I got with Glock Store, which is where I left you guys at about 4.5 years ago ish. Um, and I got somewhat of a normal schedule. It was every day was the same time, um, and then I was kind of getting adjusted to that. And believe it or not, because I was adjusted to a more normal schedule, um, I didn't really. I don't know if it was I didn't have time or I didn't really feel like making more of these videos. Which I mean, the gap between the last video and the video before the last video was a year. And I'm not saying I'm making a comeback and I'm making a bunch of videos or anything, but my friend Clownstein, who I know in real life, we used to work at the movie theater together. He stumbled upon this YouTube channel. Now, I have two YouTube channels. I have this one, and I have my what I've pretty much deemed as my YouTube for my videos and clips from my Twitch account or my Twitch streams. That is Cell 9000. I will try to link it down below. I know links on my other channel are kind of fucked up right now because I've only got like 9 subscribers on that channel. And the only people that really follow me on that channel are the people that I know mostly in real life. I think there's a couple people that I don't really know, but they've come over from Twitch to find me on YouTube. And I'm kind of working on maybe doing something with this channel also. Not really sure. There's been a lot of shit that's gone down in the past 4 years. I've been in a couple of relationships. Still live here. Mom still is here. I've had a dog pass away. We've got another dog. She's sitting right over there. Her name is Cassidy. She just looked at me. She is a worrywart and she has high anxiety. She probably will not come over here. Well, if I coerce her, she might come over here. We've got toys scattered all across the room. I still have my Toyota Tacoma, but there's been a lot of shit that's gone down the past 4 years. Granddad passed away. Step-grandparents passed away. I still have my grandparents on my dad's side of the family. I'm trying to think of what else even happened. I've changed jobs. I paid off my truck. But we'll get to the job thing first because that's kind of more of the reason why I haven't really been posting, because it used to be I would post shenanigans from my job or stupid shit that's happened in my life. And basically, the work environment, last time I left you guys, I believe I had started at Glock Store. I had been there for a little bit. I was working in customer service. That's pretty much where I left you. So since then, I worked there for pretty much all of the 4 years since that last video. Um, I started a new job in December of last year. I left Glock Store in November of last year. Now, what happened in that time period was I was in customer service for a little bit. I think I was in there for a total of a year or just about a year. And then, so basically, to explain Glock Store, I think I explained this in the last video. I can't really remember because I did watch the last video, but it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago when I actually watched it. So basically, what happened with Glock Store was they were started in San Diego, California, for like 30 something years. The CEO and his wife decided that they wanted to start a location in Nashville. That's what happened. Really close to the airport. They're still there. They didn't go out of business or anything. But they moved the location to Nashville. Well, then about a year and a half or so later, when they did that, they closed the San Diego location. Any of the people that were working in the location either got laid off or they moved to Nashville. They gave them the option. They said, hey, if you want to move to Nashville, we'll give you employment. But also we understand because that's almost all the way across the entire other side of the country. So that left them with blank spots. So they decided to shut. At one point, they had 2 complete warehouses. They had one Nashville, one San Diego. They had customer support in California. They had one in Tennessee. And then San Diego shut down. So then they had people that moved. So you had people that were working from home. Some people that moved out of state and were still working for Glock Store, but they worked at home. And then you have people that moved to Tennessee. Those are like the diehard people that are pretty much with them until they die at this point, because it's been 5, maybe 6 years since they actually moved here. And the people that moved here 6 years ago are probably going to stay there until something either really bad happens to that company or until they die. But basically, I started there. I think it was when I quit, I was just shy of my 4-year anniversary by like 2 months. And I left. Basically, what happened was I was in customer service for like a year, and then I told the previous part of this to tell you the next, where they had these holes to fill. So they had people that they needed for certain departments, because they didn't transfer over, and there's certain positions that you just can't do working from home, like the custom shop, customizing guns and stuff, or the shipping department, warehouse, inventory. Well, I say you can't do that working from home, but they had somebody that was doing inventory, even though they weren't in the building but twice a year. Didn't really make a whole lot of sense. There was a lot of things with that company that didn't make a whole lot of sense, and kind of counterintuitive, but whatever. So anyway, about a year in, but actually just short of a year in, they decided to move the returns department to Nashville. Well, they already had a returns department in San Diego. They had one person at the time currently running it, and they sent her to Nashville to train somebody else. And they promoted someone else to go to the returns department that was also in the customer service department. Well, that person, I don't really know why she got the promotion, because there's you're gonna notice a trend here when I start telling the story. I don't really know why they decided to promote her, because she had done several really bad things that affected the company greatly. And when they did promote her, she fucked that job up too. So basically, I say that because then they decided to promote me. I wanted a raise. I wanted promotion. I've been there for a year. They said they were growing the company. They're giving everybody promotions that have been there for a little bit. So I decided that, hey, I've been here for a year. I've pretty much been trained to be the team lead, or next in line to be a manager. So that's what I'm going for, is to be the manager or team lead of the customer service department. Well, then they pussyfooted around for a little bit and said, well, we have to interview everyone that applies, and some people aren't qualified, but we still have to interview them even though they're not qualified. Hello, what are you doing? You don't understand what's going on, dude. This is Cassidy. I don't know if you can see her very good or not. She's a border collie, short haired. Anyway, so basically what happened was we got to a point where they were promoting people, and I went for that position. And I was already kind of in training to be that replacement. I was the person that people were coming to for questions on how certain things worked, who to contact about certain things. They weren't going to our, at that time, team lead because he was already assisting our manager, which the customer service manager was now, well, he was still in San Diego and he was not planning on moving here. The entire customer service department in San Diego, minus like 2 people, were already gone at this point. The location physically had already shut down, but they were working from home. But customer service you can do working from home because you don't need, you don't need to be in a building for that. You're doing phones, emails, and order approvals, which is all on the computer or on a headset. You don't have to be in an office building for that. So they interviewed all the people and they said, okay, well, they had like, what was it, 4 or 5 people that interviewed that applied. They interviewed all of them, including myself, and every single person that was involved in those interviews got some sort of a promotion in another department, but it didn't work out like it was originally planned to go. So basically, what happened was they didn't give me the team lead position, even though I was already being trained to do it. They gave the team lead position to someone that wasn't qualified to do it because, reason one, he hadn't even been there for 3 months yet. He wasn't, and he had never been in the customer service department before he worked there. He ran vape shops. He had never worked in the firearms industry before. But it was decided that they were going to promote him. He was still in the probationary period. Why they chose him, I have no idea. And he failed at his job pretty spectacularly. Surprise to no one. The other person that interviewed for the position, they didn't give him the team lead position, but because the person that selected that person that got the team lead position was selected, and he did some other things with the company that the CEO and the COO didn't really like, they fired him. And so that second person that they interviewed that wasn't me, they promoted him to manager. So not really sure why they did that, because he was promoted to manager, which is a step over the person that was already the team lead that was in Nashville, that knew what he was doing. So they took the team lead position away from the person that was already team lead and made him like kind of like a safety manager, but they didn't want him to leave for the customer service department. He was like overseeing it, but he wasn't in charge of it. And then they gave the manager role to someone completely different that had only been there for like 6 months. Now he was qualified. He was in the Army. Has plenty of firearms experience. He's got plenty of customer service experience. He's a smart dude. He just has really bad anger management. It is what it is. I'm thinking probably what happened with his situation, he's really schmoozed up the COO and probably the CEO, and they really liked him. And they might have felt bad because he was in the Army and there was a whole bunch of shit that went down with him, I guess. I don't really know, but anyway, and then the other person that interviewed that wasn't me, she got a raise, but she didn't get a promotion. And then there's me. So that they told me, oh, we're going to give you a raise. It was like 25 cents or 50 cents an hour extra. but they're not promoting me. And I said, well, wait a minute. I was like, I've been here longer than what that should be your identifying factor right there. I've been there for a year, and I've been there longer than most of the customer service department has been there that we're currently there, because everybody else that was in that department were already promoted to go to other departments. They were in the custom shop. They were in gun records somewhere else in the building. They were somewhere else in the building doing another department. They were a team lead somewhere else. They got a promotion with a big raise, doing something that wasn't customer service, because customer service, unless you're the janitor, is considered bottom of the totem pole. And at that point in time, they didn't get any sort of commission or bonus or anything. They just got paid like a basic $15 an hour. So I said, okay, well, I've been here for a year. I've shown my loyalty. Everybody that's in this department comes to me for questions on how things work and who to go to. But you're deciding to promote somebody that's not only not qualified, but they're still in a probationary period. So I'm going to leave, and the only way to stop me, I don't want to leave because I like the people that I work with, and I like what I do, but I don't like the management. And it doesn't pay enough. So I said, you've got two options. Either I can get a promotion with a raise to do something else because I'm tired of sitting in customer service all the damn time, or you can match the pay of this other job that I have. And I had to offer with Beretta to go work at their customer service department. And basically what that boiled down to was they said, well, we'll give you the promotion and the pay raise to match it just to keep you, but you have to go to the returns department. You're not going to be a team lead in customer service. I said, okay, but we already have someone in the returns department. She's not doing a very good job, but she was there. That's her position. And they said, well, that position's always been a two-person job. And they had a massive trigger recall going on, and she had a whole bunch of work that she was behind on, and she wasn't exactly catching on as fast as they thought she should. And I said, okay, so she needs help. So I go down there, and I train, and they send, they didn't physically send the people to Nashville like they did for her as many times. They only sent them here for me once. They sent to her like 3 times. And one of those times was the time they were here for me also. But we also talked either on the phone or through Google Meet or FaceTime or whatever means, Zoom, whatever means digitally, where we could screen share. And so, we're talking a year in now, and through that next half of that year, basically what happened was I did so good at my job that they phased her out. They gave her an ultimatum. She was always late for work. She was always taking hour lunch breaks, but getting paid for it. She was disappearing, not really doing her job. The stuff that she was doing for her job, she was fucking up. And they gave her an ultimatum about 3 months in. Maybe, I don't think it was 6 months. Maybe it might have been 6 months. Because by the time I got down there, we got caught up with everything. There was an organization. I fixed everything that I could fix. And by the time we got to the ultimatum, we were caught up, but I couldn't fix anything 100% because I'm not the manager. I'm not overstepping my bounds. Well, they gave her an ultimatum that said either you can take a demotion and a pay cut to go to customer service, or you can leave. And she chose to leave. So that position became mine. I was the only I was the only returns department associate, not manager. Notice that part. I was the only returns associate at Glock Store for a total of 3 years, maybe not quite 3 years, but the better part of 3 years. Now, backtrack a little bit. Remember, the COO told me that this has always been a two-person job. Somehow, miraculously, I come through and I'm able to do not only the job that she was doing correctly and figure out a system where it's streamlined to where only one person has to do it, but I'm able to keep up with it. Now, there's periods in time where I would get behind because I had to be out for a doctor's appointment. We had a winter storm that knocked out the power. The internet went out, so I can't do my job. We would have a snow or ice storm where I can't make it to work. So, the returns don't stop for nobody. They come in every day. They sell hundreds to maybe thousands of orders a day. So, in that period of time, you've got parts where a customer can't really test something in a store or they don't know what they're buying. And they'll send something back because they either don't like it or they bought the wrong thing and they're doing an exchange or, what have you. Well, that was basically what I did for the better part of 3 years. And over that course of time, I did get raises, but the management, and I'm talking about upper management, not my direct boss. The upper management was extremely toxic. And I'm talking like they wanted you to work in really, really inhumane conditions. And I'm talking like I'm sitting at a desk that's not in a climate controlled environment. And that light over there just went off. I don't know if you guys can see that or not because of the light coming this way. But anyway, it's on a timer. The upper management was extremely toxic. I would work in non-climate controlled environments. The only part of the entire building was the strip that was between the machine shop and the outer wall. No air conditioning, no heat, or very little sometimes, but a lot of times there was none. It was inside, but it's an office job. Why is it not climate controlled? To today's standards, I know there's probably some old people out there from the fucking 60s and the 50s or something. Well, I used to work at factory jobs. Okay, well, we're in 2026. We're in the 21st century. We don't fucking do that anymore. There are warehouses and factories nowadays that still don't do that. But the fact that the warehouse is climate controlled and the section that I work in, which has like 2 people in it, is not climate controlled, and it was never fixed. To this day, I think even still, it's not 100% working like it's supposed to. And that entire period of time, I bared with it and I tried to stay because I thought maybe waiting and showing that I'm able to do more than just be returns department associate or customer service department associate, that they'll fix things and I'll get another promotion someday and I'll be a manager and they'll listen to my ideas. That never happened. It's all about the money, and how they can do something as cheap as possible. Which I understand they want to make a profit, but at what point do you kind of split the difference on it? Because, I mean, I just, there's so many different things that happen in that company that do not make sense. And I'll spare you the rest of the 3 years. Basically, to put it in a very short, compacted version. I worked in the returns department. I was there for like 3 years, almost 4 years in total. And it got to a point where they fired my boss. Basically, he could have sued. I don't know if he did sue or not. Basically, they waited till he came off of workers' comp or paid leave to fire him because they thought that he was abusing the system, and he wasn't, because it was caught on camera that he injured himself while working. and he was doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing, but his boss told him to do it. And he was getting criticized all over all this other stuff, and they were slowly taking his roles away, even though he was doing a perfectly good job. Meanwhile, I was getting more and more responsibilities without the extra pay, um, for stuff that was outside my department completely. They're not in my spectrum, but I was again now in this position 3-something years later, where everybody comes to me for questions. They don't go to the manager, they don't go to the team lead, they don't go to the assistant manager in the customer service department. They come to me. Again, I don't really understand it, why that happened. But that's what happened. Um, and it's really upsetting, to have to go through that situation. And it's there's a fatal flaw in that whole system with training. And so they fired my boss and they promoted somebody that didn't deserve the promotion, and he went crazy with power. Uh, and that was pretty much my final straw. Was I said, okay, well, if we're gonna sit here and fire people for unjust reasons, then I'm just gonna leave. I don't really give a shit. There's nothing that they could say to keep me here. Um, I don't care if they gave me. They would have to do so many. They would have to bend over backwards so much that it would not make sense to keep me. Um, they would have had to have given me a significant pay raise. They would have had to give him. They would have had to fix that office situation with the air conditioning, or put me somewhere else. Um, Give me a second person, because it got to a point where I'm basically not allowed to take vacation. I'm not allowed to take PTO, because anytime I would go to a doctor's visit, I have to use my PTO. I can't not use my PTO. I can't just take unpaid leave, um, or not be there for 2 days, or not be there for 2 hours or an hour. I have to take my PTO. So when they force you to use your PTO like that, then you don't have vacation time. Um, and again, the same thing with if we're out for weather conditions, like the power's out, or there's a snow or ice storm or whatever, they force you to use your PTO, or come into work. So, you don't build PTO very fast in those situations. So that's kind of where what I'm getting at is I didn't have time to take PTO, but even if I did, I couldn't do it because I was the only person that did my job. Um, and I harped on them several different times. I'm like, look, I just want to take a week off, and not even a full week off, like 3 days. And 2 of those days will be the weekend. We're not even open on the weekend. I just want to take 3 to 4 days off and then come back. I just need somebody that I can train to do my job for like 2 days. Big whoop. I'm even offering that if you need me, and I mean, there's something that's going on, the guy that I'm training can't figure it out, call me. Offering an open line on my vacation. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't. They wouldn't do it. And so, over the course of 3 years, I trained. Now they finally did give me a person to train, but it took them, um, me purposely getting behind on work to get them, or not. I shouldn't say purposely getting behind, but me getting so behind on work because of different things that happened. Like there was a winter storm, and then the power went out another day, and then the internet went out the next day, and then I was out the next day because of a doctor's appointment, or I was sick or something like that, and just all sorts of shit. And so I was like a week behind on returns, and I couldn't catch up because there's stuff that's coming in every day. So they sent someone else down there to train with me. So then I was even further behind because I had to train them. And then we started getting caught up. Well, then they just took him away. They sent him back to another department. They gave him a promotion. And I'm like, okay, like that doesn't make any fucking sense. And then I said, I went to my boss and I said, hey, so I would like to take a vacation now. Like I have enough PTO where I could take at least 2 days. He says, well, let me go talk to blah, blah, blah. And then they said, well, they're not going to give them a pay raise to train with you. They're only going to pay them extra money to work when you're working. So they have to fill out a time slip sheet so they can adjust their time card for $1 raise an hour. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, okay. So in the end, I wound up training 4 people, I think. I did train my replacement. They finally agreed to have some. Well, I said I trained my replacement. I didn't even really get to fully train him because the last time before they fired my boss, my old boss, they said that they only wanted him over there for training because I said I wanted to go on vacation. But they never gave him, I never had him for a full day. I would have him for a half a day sometimes. And it's like, I've got a system on how everything works. Now I've got other shit that's not a part of returns that I'm having to do and keep up with also now. So for me to get a half a day with somebody that doesn't know what the fuck's going on and has no, first they have to put him in the customer service department. And the HR department asked me, do you think he should come straight to you or do you think he should sit in customer service for a week? And I said, he should sit in customer service for a week because he doesn't know how our system works at all. And you're expecting me to train. First of all, he doesn't know how customer service works. He's never worked in customer service. He doesn't know how our system works. And it's very antiquated if you don't go through training for it. So if you go into this blind, you're going to be so fucking confused. So he needs to sit with customer service department on the phones. He doesn't have to take phone calls, but it would probably benefit him if he did, just to see what they go through, because that's where I started. And that's why I have such a good grasp on what happens here. So he needs to sit in customer service for a week and be on the phones. He can take phone calls if need be. He can listen. He can do emails and all that. But after a week, he can come down here and I can train on the rest of everything else. And I understand he's probably not going to absorb everything at once because it's going to be a lot to take in. And I'm glad to repeat everything he needs me to repeat as many times as he needs me to repeat it. But now you're putting me in a trainer role to basically train someone to help me when I need help. And it's going to become a problem because, at what point, if we get backed up again, basically I'm a manager and I'm not getting paid for it. And now I'm being a trainee. So, and now I can be a trainee in other departments because I know how to do pretty much every other role except for machine shop in that fucking building. So, at what point am I not, like, I'm still not considered a manager at this point. I've been there for almost 4 years. And, so I trained him a couple times. He wasn't down there very much. I didn't get to fully train him. A person that I used to work with at Glock Store, she was our events coordinator. She left after all the toxicity shit with her position. She got a new job working with Hoffman and Hoffman, which is the company that I technically work for now. Hoffman and Hoffman officially, I believe, has 4 different companies. I work under the Hoffman Hydronics brand. They sell or distribute rather hydronics parts, gasket kits, multi-purpose valves, suction diffusers, anything that moves water that needs a pump. Cooling systems, any of that stuff for these data centers, the move the water, boiler rooms, stuff like that. That's what we sell / distribute, or we have techs that go out into the field and they install systems, and that's what it is. The person that I work with that technically got me hired, she works for Hoffman Building Technologies. and she is basically like the office admin for the entire building, but also really works for Hoffman Building Technologies. Um, but she basically got me the job there. Um, she was the one that recommended me. I applied. I got in. I got hired. They paid for me to drive to Greensboro, North Carolina. Paid for my rental car. Paid for my gas. Paid for my hotel. Um, I'm the warehouse coordinator for Nashville, Tennessee. Um, they just opened uh, the Nashville location that we're currently in August of last year. So they've been at the location they are now for almost a year. They were already in Nashville a year prior to that at a different location that was very close, but they didn't have hydronics there. They didn't have a warehouse. So I'm getting to set up the warehouse like a brand new warehouse. We're getting inventory in. I'm setting up the way organized like it should be. We're figuring out different things that I need because it's a completely new market to them. Um, and it's a very slow process. It's a very expensive process because we're having to buy forklifts, we're having to buy shelving, we're having to buy supplies, we're having to buy all sorts of stuff. But it's all paid for by the company. Um, Pretty much, if I think it's something that we need and I can prove that we can benefit from it, I can probably get it. Um, I've been there since December 1st officially. I was out in Greensboro for 2 weeks. So it was kind of like a mini, like, sort of like a mini vacation, but at the same time, I was still working. Went out for orientation. I have my own work phone. Um, and there's every business, there's little stupid things that happen, but for the most part, and I know I'm saying this and I'm only like a half a year in, just over half a year in, it's been pretty great. Um, I'm due for an evaluation here really soon. Technically, I'm overdue right now, but there's been some technical backfiring going on. So I'm still waiting on that to happen to where I can get my evaluation on my boss's end. It's messed up in uh, his system, so he can't do anything. But I'm getting back paid. I've been promised I'm getting a back pay till like a month ago now, and so water in the bridge. It's whatever. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna probably cut the video off here pretty soon because it's been over 20 something minutes of me not shutting the fuck up because I've been trying to wrap 4 years into 20 to 30 minutes of video. Um, I'm trying to think of anything else that I can throw in here at the very end that's happened. There's been, like I said, there's been relationships that they've come and gone. Really stupid shit. None of it really my fault. I know I'm deflecting if I say that. You don't know the other person's side of the story, but trust me, um, that's all I can really say is trust me. Um, I put about a year into, or not even a year, 6 months into my last relationship, and it just wound up being really nasty. How the whole thing ended, and but all I can really say is I've started losing weight. I might look about the same weight that I did in the last video, but I gained a lot of weight in between the last video and when I thought I was going to start making the next video for the show, which is this one. I started taking Zepbound shots, the insulin, or not insulin, the semaglutide, I think is what it's called. The shots, you take them once a week. It's weight loss, weight reduction, enhancing shots that you can take. And it has curbed my appetite. It doesn't make food as appealing at some times. I don't not have an appetite or anything, and I'm still eating, but I'm losing weight. at a healthy-ish pace. I'm not eating, when you just don't eat as much, then you lose weight, and I'm drinking a lot more water. And, you know, at my heaviest, I was 431 pounds. I started this journey back in February of this year. I think it was actually really beginning of March, because I went to the weight loss doctor at the end of February, but I didn't start taking the shots until the beginning of March, because there was a whole bunch of things with insurance. And that's another cool thing about the job I'm at, is they have a GLP-1 specific discount card that's not related to our insurance that we can get for completely free. You don't have to pay any money on it, and it's a discount card that reduces the shots down to like $98. Out of pocket would have been 600 something, and using my health insurance would have been 400. So the fact that it brings it down to $98 is crazy to me. But I've been taking that since March. My heaviest was back in February, and since February I've lost literally 49 pounds. And I haven't weighed this morning, because I got out of bed, took a shit, got on the camera. Because I'm up early enough this morning to where I can make a video, and then I can go to work. Still, because I'm still working today. I'm off tomorrow in observance of 4th of July. I probably won't upload this video until this afternoon. And then my birthday's next week, and I'll be 32. But I've lost 49 pounds since February. I weighed 382 yesterday. I'll be at 50 pounds, in one pound. I might be at it now. I don't know. But we've been doing really good. And we're going to continue to try to do very good. And I've still got room for improvement as far as the shots go. I can still go up in prescriptions and dosages. I'm only on the second level. I think there's 4. But that's where we're at. I may or may not make another video here sort of soon, if I can think of anything that would benefit from its own video to kind of elaborate. If there's anything that y'all can think of that you would want to know that's happened in the past 4 years, if you personally know me, if there's something you want me to talk about, to make a video on. I've started venturing into streaming games. I know I was going to cut the video off like 10 minutes ago, but I was still talking. I've been venturing into retro games and streaming them on Twitch. Currently, I have a thing. It's a series. I have a couple different series. I have got Metal Gear Mondays, where I stream. I'm going through the entire Metal Gear series every Monday. I try to progress more through it. So far, we have gone through Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid VR missions, and this Monday we're getting started on Metal Gear Solid 2. And we'll go through that whole game, and then we'll get through maybe most of the VR missions. I don't know how many there are. And then we'll move to Metal Gear Solid 3, and that's one of my most favorite games of all time. And I've played the dog shit out of that game over the course of, I can't remember how many years. So that will be a very fun, interesting stream to see. It's something that I've wanted to stream years past, but it was never on PC, so I couldn't capture it through PC. I have a gaming rig that I can, it can run pretty much everything, but I didn't have a capture card until very recently. And the HD collection that's on the 360, you can't stream from the Xbox. Now I have a Series X, but you can't stream it because it's not loud. It doesn't do the capture. So you have to basically you either have to play it on the console and capture it through a capture card, or you have to play it through the master collection that's on PC, is how that works now. So I'm gonna probably do the Master Collection. I might do the PS2 because I've got a PS2, fat PS2, and I've got the special editions and all that. So I might run through that on there because of the pressure sensitive buttons and whatever. But yeah, so that's what we got going. We got Metal Gear Mondays every Monday. We're progressing through the entire Metal Gear series, and then once that's over, which because eventually it will end, because I'll make it all the way to the end. I don't know what I'll play after that in the series. I might start a Star Wars series where I just play through all the Star Wars games. That'll take a long time to get through, but and then Sundays, I started a series last week. We'll see how long it goes. I don't really know, but it's the Sunday Scaries. I just play scary games on Sunday. That's all it is. I started last week with Dino Crisis. It's not an extremely scary game, but technically it's considered scary. But yeah, remember, like, comment, favorite, subscribe. You can like the Facebook page if you want to. It'll be linked down below. I'll try to include my Twitch channel down below as well if it's not already down there. And Cassidy's getting on the couch right now. She's balled up looking at me like, all right, dude, shut the fuck up. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully this actually turns this off. Bye. It didn't turn it off. The remote timed out and it turned itself off. That's great.